Hello there, peace like this video. Welcome back to Stanley Parable, Ultra Deluxe. Had to fucking pause last time during all the rambling.
Only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking. Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room.
Only for blasphemy.
Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
Oh.
I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me? Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of
More light now. I think the narrator died. Well. Well, that's annoying. Someone should replace those batteries. Not me, though.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he went The end is never the end, 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 is never.
Well, the end is never the end, is never the end, is never the. Fuck happened here? I can hear outside. I don't see outside. Skip. Ah, I can see outside. Barely. Wow. Nature is healing. Never mind. Skip again. It's spooky. Skip again. It's still spooky. It's behind me, isn't it? Ugh. No. Those filthy animals, they blew it up. There's stuff in the distance. I live here now. They expect me to start walking? Yeah. It's never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Ugh. Ugh. It's even worth trying.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Not back.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
New content it is.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Better be good. Don't know how many more things I gotta do. I didn't even look at the achievements. Well, I couldn't until I started playing. And I ain't stopped playing yet.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
2?
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
So modern. Watch this shit.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean?
Wow. The color red. Laptops. Mac computers.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Magic. Sequels are good. Portal 2, I did play that one. Half-Life 2, never played Half-Life. Arkham Asylum 2, City. Infinity Originals, I actually do have that game. Doom 2, Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, Dark Souls 2, 2. That's wild that Divinity 2 was on there. One of the few games like that I have. Ooh. Boss. Wow. Ooh.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
The one that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Ooh. Wow.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, right. Well, my name is in my name, so you should get it. Quite easy one. It's right there. Man, that's like right here. All right, here we go.
Jim.
No.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim. Sleeping and waking as Jim. Falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim. Seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim. And as Jim, watching your dreams crumble into dust.
Damn.
Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
I'm so Jimming right now.
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
I'm Jimming so hard. I am Jim.
Jim.
Wow.
Yes! You see? What a thrill!
It said my name.
That was you! The button described you. Do it
Jim.
again. Do it again.
I'll do it again.
Jim.
Oh.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim.
I'm Jimming it.
I'm putting the Jim button away.
No, not the Jim
Otherwise,
button.
soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
No,
Jim.
No, no. I'm Jim. Who am I if I am not Jim? Who am I if I'm not Jimming my shit?
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Settings world champion and film. Oh. Want my free trophy. Pull lever, so you get a trophy. No more steps. It just works. Simple as.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test
here.
trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Simple as?
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley. but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
All right, one more time. Why it's gotta be down here? No free trophy for me.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Oh.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle.
Aww.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Ain't that some shit? Exit? Nah. Collectibles. I'm in.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them.
Wow.
I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Yippee! The darkness ends right there.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Thought that was the exit. Thought the exit was locked. I think we know what time it's for. Oh, merch. Man, I wish I could read some of that. I think we know what time it is.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Give me the bucket.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well?
Hell
I
yeah.
think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Thanks.
The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
I got a bucket.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. but I'm undecided on get well someday and happy 12th birthday. Which would you go with?
12th birthday. So we have kids working in the office. Child labor. Oh. Well. Birthday step niece? I kind of like this one. I want this balloon in real life. Just get well someday. Now I really want this one because I just like that design. I'm getting this one.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Damn it. I was the fool. Oh yeah, every whole time.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Wow. Wow. Now that's a hole.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the new content.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
Why?
Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Why? It's infinite.
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
I'm perfectly fine with everything. I got my bucket. It keeps me comforted in these trying times. I wouldn't call this mostly infinite. Slightly deeper than average, I would say.
Great.
Fine.
Now, I'm very excited to show you... Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much.
I mean...
A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
Fine.
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Okay.
Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point.
Darn.
It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
This is my home now. Wasn't there a thing where you like fallen and you can customize what's going on with the screen, or what Stanley looks like and shit? The button didn't work.
Is the teleport button not working?
No.
You sure?
I'm
Well, I
pretty
mean,
sure.
I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again.
Okay.
Still nothing?
Nope.
Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You
Oh,
couldn't
wait.
bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else.
Huh.
Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Huh. Hopefully I don't waste all my jumps. Ah, shit. We going down. Going to places unknown. Man, I miss the Adventure Line music. And the elevator music. I like this perspective. Change your perception. Hey. Okay. All right. Getting weird now. I don't like that one. Ooh. Hot damn. What? Shit. Go back to the puppies. They're adorable. Oh. What the hell? Oh. Actually, I like that one. I don't know about that one. Oh. Shit. Alright.
Stanley?
Shut up. No.
Stanley! Stanley!
No.
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it.
You bastard.
Don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole?
How would you don't?
From the
fuck
looks
off.
of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle pip.
Don't you toodle pip me. I want to go back to the vibes. Back to the vibes, I tell you. No. I want to do it again. I was enjoying that.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Fuck you, I'm going back. I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished in there. Oh, you fucking... Damn it. Ah. Unbelievable. I was hoping I'll at least go one more time. I'm so fucking disappointed. That's all I wanted to do. My day is fucking ruined.
Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
My day is ruined. It's all this nonsense.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Ooh. Ooh, 36.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Ooh.
Who am I kidding, Stanley?
Collectibles.
This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Ooh. Settings. Same settings. Let's start the Stanley Parable 2. Hello there, people. Cycles here. Welcome to Stanley Parable 2. Gonna be jumping right in there with the new free games for the PlayStation Plus. Always wanted to try it. Wanted to get me that bucket, go into that infinite hole, feel existential crises.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk.
Why do they have a skip on? Oh, they do. Oh, new features. Wow.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Wonder whose niece worked
Stanley
here.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Where's my bucket?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any
Difference to
way.
me. Woo!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Man, what the hell? Working harder than working, eh? Alright, we'll see you later. What a great guy. Life of the office, I tell you, that guy.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright. Where's an infinite hole around here? I'd like that.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
I truly
Perhaps
do.
his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
No.
You can feel that, can't you? The
No.
aura of jealousy? It's as
No, it's
clear as
mine.
day. This broom closet believes it deserves
No.
the bucket. I can really feel it now.
No.
It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying
No,
to say here.
it's mine.
supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies.
No.
Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
Never, I will
know
never.
how hard it must be.
The
given
broom closet is
pressure
evil
that
now.
The broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now,
No.
but you have to be strong. This is
My
your
bucket.
bucket. This
My
is
bucket.
your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over.
Yes, it's mine.
No. We're
My
getting
precious.
into name-calling now, it seems. Is this
Oh.
how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to
Disgusting.
this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
A truly
Stanley,
evildoer.
I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons.
Oh, I
Even
bet.
this is worse than I had imagined. And
Truly
wait,
evil.
now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
How fucking
That your
dare it?
relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
No.
That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even
Never.
partially enticing manner? Well,
No.
I've never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell
you.
the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together.
Yeah.
Go through each of them point by point.
Yeah.
Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the
Now you
bucket
ask for too
as
much.
they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
You're a bad person. This is my friend forever, and he's staying with me.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Because the boss knows what the boss says goes. If the boss has suffered losses, then what's the boss's chose?
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't
That's all I
buy that
need.
sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
I will. You're certainly gonna make me by talking. I was gonna fill my bucket, my My good old friend bucket with water. Yes, it continues.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now,
bucket.
in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be
Buckets.
with him always.
Of course.
The bucket would. And he knew it.
Yeah.
The two of them were inseparable.
Yeah.
At this point,
Bucket.
Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
I
Nor
really
in his
didn't.
bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Yeah, how would I know that? I'm just gonna hang out with my bucket.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
He went back to his old dialogue. I'm trying to enjoy my time with my bucket. My good old bestest bucket.
2845.
Darn.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Oh.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Where's the L come from? Oh, Stanley. I thought you was going with Stan. I don't know how I feel about Lorene. I don't know. What do you think, Bucket?
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate.
I was gonna do a joke.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him,
my
comforting
joke.
him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
My joke and shit.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Oh.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Well, here I go.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Only nearly.
Bucket had never seen
I've never dropped a
anything like
bucket.
this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
We're in this together, Bucket. Just you and me against the world.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Damn.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
Good old
At
Bucket.
this point, he could trust no one except
for the bucket.
Of course.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world.
Yeah.
They high-fived in a really cool way.
Yeah.
And the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Well, the bucket gets what the bucket wants. Especially if the bucket makes a sassy comment about it.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it.
Yeah.
Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together with one
forever.
another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
What's
What? Wait,
going on here?
what was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
No.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Keep him. No.
Even
No.
the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
No, he's
needed
my
the
friend.
soothing warmth of the bucket, or go to any lengths
No.
not to part with the bucket.
No.
No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms.
No.
Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
I'm never, ever letting go of my bucket. You had to pry from my cold, dead hands. This is my bucket. Bucket.
Someone was following Stanley. He
Shut
was
up.
sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Wait a minute.
Stanley lifted
Bucket.
the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Working hard or hardly working? Really want to go down that hole again.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Hey, give me find. How can we find them all? Bottom text. Small phone now just started across the Amazon Center. Other resources ensuring there are not many questions. A bathroom. Darkness. Who took these pictures? Fig leaves are hard to find. All clues to find. We can do it. Red room. Thank you and good luck. Trust the completionist instinct. My one they just tell us something happened? It's wrong. It starts like sound brick. Large room with lots of boxes. Stairs. Something to do with stairs. Somewhere both red and blue. Team Fortress? Some kind of game. What's the point to this? I must find them. Fuck you, broom closet. I don't want to.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Red. Stanley.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Figgly Wiggly. Ah, shit, I don't want
But
this
Stanley
again.
just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that.
I don't want
And
to
in
do this
such
one
a
again.
competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
The bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
My bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from.
Where?
The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful.
Ow.
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
The bucket was the friends we
This
made
is
along
the
the way.
story of a woman named Mariella.
Ugh.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was.
No bucket.
This man had no bucket.
Disgusting.
Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck
Lucky
yes,
bitch.
she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Wish I could see that. I really wish I could see this. with a bucket in hand. Wow. Wowee. Oh boy. Ugh. Ugh.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Bucket, there you are.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Bucket. Working harder, hardly working. Bucket. I thought there was no
Stanley
doors.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
The bucket. And the bucket. There will be a reward for finding them all. Stop kidding yourselves. I want them so much. I want to go home. There'll be cleaning. A large room with lots of boxes. Some were both red and blue. I thought that's one. No, it's something to do with stairs. Red and blue. Red and blue. Red and blue. Where have I seen red and blue? Where have I seen red and blue? Well, I gotta end the episode here. Like, subscribe to DarkSideNick. Next time we'll be hunting for Figlies, going insane. But not going insane because we have our bucket, obviously. See you then, or not. And God bless. And remember to always have your bucket with you.